Hi, I'm Shannon from houseimprovements.com, and I want to show you how to change out your old thermostat that operates your furnace and maybe even air conditioning from this type or any other type of old style to a touchscreen programmable thermostat. Very simple, basic thing to do, really. It's not too difficult. First thing you want to do is go down and find your main breaker in your panel box for the furnace and turn that off before you begin. In this case it's low voltage, but you never know, if you short a wire out it might hurt something in the furnace, on the circuit board, or even on the thermostat. So turn the power off to your furnace before you do anything. In this case, what I've got here is an old mercury style thermostat. It's likely from the late 80s, maybe 90s. You can still buy these, but so basically it operates, very dusty, but basically it operates with a vial of mercury in here that creates contact as you set the adjustment, and it rotates on a spring. And basically all it is, that mercury either is away from the contacts inside of there, or when the spring cools off and expands, it tilts that off back on its own and it makes contact, and that's what kicks your furnace or air conditioning in. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. There's mercury in there though, so dispose of it accordingly when you are done, and be very careful not to break that vial. To start out with, you don't need a whole lot of tools for this. This particular one, basically you've got to figure out how to get this off the wall to start with. So we've already turned the power off. This one, it appears that I've got 3 small screws here to take this face off. Now, it's important to mention, okay, so I've got the face off. Now we can see the electronics in there. It should be important to mention too here, this style of thermostat we're dealing with is 24 volt. Also, it would be similar if it was a millivolt. If you've got electric baseboard heaters or some type of electric heat, your thermostat probably will be different. It'll likely actually be 120 or 120 volt power up here. So it's a little different ball game when you get into that. So if you get your thermostat open, like maybe you're not even sure, right? So you get your thermostat open, and if you see, you know, these small, usually colored wires, they're fairly small in diameter, you know, similar to like, well, maybe just slightly heavier than a speaker wire or something like that. If you see that, you're dealing with low voltage. That shouldn't be a problem. If you open this up and you see like regular household electrical, like a 14 gauge wire in there or something like that, or 12 gauge, then you're definitely dealing with higher voltage, and you should probably contact an electrician if you're not comfortable dealing with it. In this case, like I said, we're just dealing with 24 volt. This is really dusty in here. Okay, so we've got that face plate off. Now we can see the actual mounting screws for this plate. So we'll take those out, and then it should be free from the wall. Sometimes they're stuck to the wall, you know, from a little bit of paint being smeared up against them or whatever. So sometimes even once you get these couple screws out, you may find that it's still kind of stuck there, but just get a screwdriver in behind it, give it a little pry, and it'll probably pop right off. It'll just be stuck to the paint. This one actually isn't stuck. Get our screws out, and oh boy, we don't have a lot of excess wire here. I'm just having a look in the back. Okay, so a couple of these wires are pretty tight. I can't really get this enough out of the way to kind of show you. You'll see here in a minute once I get this out of the way. Now, what you want to do is record how these wires were attached, as far as what colors were going to what screws. Every screw terminal should have an indication of usually a letter or a combination of 2 letters beside it. So take a picture or copy it down on some paper or whatever, so you know what wires went where. We're going to take a quick picture. Our thermostat is actually one that I'm reusing from a different project. If you're buying a brand new one, a lot of times they'll come with some little tags in there, which They correspond, they've got lettering on them that correspond to these letters I was talking about here, and you just take the little tag and wrap it right onto the wire before you take it off of here. That way you can keep track of where they went. In my case, I don't have them. In your case, maybe your thermostat doesn't come with them, so I'm just going to take a quick picture of the existing setup, like so that I have a reference as far as what wires went where. Okay, so now again, remember we've got the power off, so there's no fear of doing any damage here or anything. So I'm just going to simply loosen these screws all off, and then I can get at the wires. This screw here, I've got two wires underneath of it. Oh, I see. There's a little jumper here. So that red wire is actually part of the thermostat. So, and then I'm just going to get these wires unconnected. Sorry, my hands and head are probably in the way. Now, usually you would have a little bit of slack in the wall with these wires, and it wouldn't be quite so difficult to get them all unhooked, but in this case, I don't have a lot of excess, so a little restricted on how much movement I've got. Okay, so we've got the plate here. There's nothing on the back, sort of deal. It's just got its old switches and stuff. There was actually nothing wrong with this. It was functioning fine. I just wanted to update. Okay, so here we've got our wires. In this particular instance, we've got 4 wires, and a couple of them are actually for the air conditioning. So if you only have heat, you may not have 4 wires. And again, by the size of them, I know automatically that it's going to be a low voltage situation. So we've got the right setup here. So with your thermostat that you've purchased, usually it will come into break into two pieces. So you've got your front unit, which you program and do all the actual viewing on. And then you've got this back mounting panel. So this is the piece that mounts to the wall. The wires will come through the hole here. Don't pinch any of them when you're doing it, but bring the wires through here. You can see we've got actually this one's even marked right on it. For heat pump, now we're not dealing with a heat pump, but you would use these outside terminals. For conventional setup, we're going to use these inside ones, and you can see they're labeled with the letters and different things like that too, just like our other one was, and that's why it was important to copy it down so we know what goes where. This particular one, I'm going to need a mini screwdriver. There's just some little mini screws in here, and the wires will just go straight back into those holes and tighten up the line. So the wires here, they have a hook bent on them because they were wrapped around a screw before. We don't need that. We'll be able to straighten them all out to reuse them. So I'm just going to see, it doesn't look like the existing mounting holes is going to really work. So I'm gonna mark some new holes before we get any wires hooked on, just because of the short wires I've got there. I don't have enough room to have them hooked on and move this out of the way after. So I'm just gonna put some reference marks. Now, if you were putting up a mercury style thermostat like we just took down, it's important that you put it up level on the wall so that it's perfectly level. Not so much on these ones, but obviously for aesthetics it is better, but on the mercury one for sure it has to be level, or the mercury switch doesn't work properly. So I'm just going to get myself close here, mark those couple holes. Now there's a couple different choices for mounting it if you need them, but these ones I've got here are going to work fine. So what I'm going to use is, because there won't likely be, there's no wood stud or blocking or anything back there. So I'm going to use these plastic wall anchors, just normal wall anchor that you see everywhere. Be careful you don't drill through the wiring. I'm going to just drill a hole for the anchor. I'm just looking where my wiring goes. It should be all right there. Okay, let's put those into place. Like so. And well, I've got that out of the way. I'm just going to straighten these wires out. Okay, so we've got the wires straightened. I also changed out this plug. It didn't seem like it was going to be solid enough, so I had to put a little different style in. And as well, I had to change screwdrivers. You guys are all very observant, so I know a lot of you are going to notice that some of this stuff changed well in the last couple seconds. Okay, so I've got all my wires coming out through this center hole. I'm just lining up to where my wall plugs are back there, the anchors that I put in. I'll just get this close. And I also referenced back to my photo, and I just wrote in pencil over here corresponding to which one of these screws each color wire was, just for quick reference as I'm going here. We're just going to see if this is it really looks crooked, but it's not sitting very nice on my I'm standing this close to it, it still looks crooked, but the level's staying straight, so we'll have a little look and adjust it if we have to after. So I've just got that snugged up. You don't have to twist them super tight. You'll end up just breaking this plastic. Okay, so again, I wish these wires had a little more length to them. Now, you remember we had this jumper wire. I should have showed this when I had that off the wall still. This jumper wire is here. And if you read your instructions, which you should do, you'll be able to determine from the instructions. There's different ways of wiring this up, depending on what your house has. So in our case, I seen this jumper wire here, so I knew right away to be looking for it. And most of these thermostats will come with a jumper wire already installed. It's not quite as predominant as this, but right up here, connecting this terminal to this terminal, there's a little silver wire right back in here. So in our case, I know that it was used on the original, so we're going to leave it in place. In some cases, if you didn't have a jumper wire, and the instructions again will explain this better, you have to cut that out on the new one. So just make sure you're looking for that. Okay, so now if I can get all these to reach where I need to go, straightening these out so they'll stab in there. This one I've got to get right up in here with my great big fingers. Even those pliers might have come in handy for this part. They don't leave you a lot of room between there to get your hand in there and still see what you're doing. Okay, so I got that one in. We'll just snug that down. Again, don't torque it right off or you're going to end up breaking something. So I need my orange wire next. It's going to go into this one. And again, I'm just matching right up with exactly what my other old thermostat had labeled, so we should not have any issues afterwards. And just be sure there's not too much insulation here stripped off. You know, when your wire goes in there, it should be pretty much right to the insulation almost, so you don't have a lot of bare wire showing. Come on, get in there. There we go. And if it is, just pull the wire out and snip a little bit off the end. That's my bottom one. This one's maybe a little long here. I'm going to just cut a little bit off of it. You can use side cutters. I'm just using my pliers here to take a little bit off. And just make sure they're all tight and not touching each other. Okay, so we've got that part done. So most of these will have like a battery backup basically on them. So make sure your batteries are in. You're going to see all these prongs here. They correspond and plug into that area there. So we're ready just to plug that in, and then I can turn the breaker back on and see what we've got. Okay, so it just slides right in there. Face kind of got dirty, and you can see it is lit up even though the breaker's off, and that's just the battery backup working. So it's showing on this particular one, showing the time and the inside temperature and some of your other modes there. I'm going to turn the power back on, and then we'll make sure it's operating. Okay, so we've turned the breaker back on. Now every one of these thermostats is going to be a little bit different, so depending on the brand and model and everything you have. I'm just going to go to System, scroll through there. We'll just go to heating mode. It's winter time right now where I am. Done. The fan is normally going to be on auto, but I should be able to force it to come on. Okay, so there goes my fan. So okay, I know the fan's working correctly. I'm going to put that back to auto. And over on this side, on mine, I can bump the set temperature up right here. So I'm just gonna, my fan just turned off here now because I put it back to auto. I'm gonna bump the heat way up so that it forces the furnace to cut in, thinking it's too cold in here. And that probably will take a few seconds to come on. Oh, there it is already. Heat on. Furnace just cut in. I can hear the fan running down there to get ready to light it. So it seems to be functioning just fine. And you know, like I said, depending on the particular thermostat you have, or the setup you have, some of that's going to be different. But the manuals are generally pretty good, and a lot of them have 1-800 numbers, or even help spots on the internet that you can go and check out. So hopefully that is helpful to you. You know, these are nice. If you get into some of the more sophisticated thermostats, you can operate it right from your phone when you're away, or even monitor your home temperature and stuff from your phone if you're away on vacation. So you can get as complicated as you want, or as simple as you want, basically, with these. I like this one because it can be set to different temperatures throughout the day and different days of the week as well. So, but you know, purchase the one you want that works with the voltage you're dealing with. So I hope you found that helpful. Another video that we have right now dealing with furnaces is looking at your flame sensor and how to not really replace it, but to actually clean it and keep it well maintained so it works properly. So you might want to check that out on our YouTube channel. We also have a forum page on our website, and we've got lots of interaction there every day. Go and check it out. If you have any questions, you can post them up there. Thanks for watching.